Thank you so much for your kind words. Tyrese stole a little bit of my speech, so I'll have to just tweak it a little bit. Good evening, board members, friends, staff, and supporters of communities in school. It is truly an honor to be present with you today in celebration and in recognition of the wonderful and just completely necessary work that you do all over the country for thousands and thousands of students. As a former student of CIS, I know firsthand how meaningful, valuable, and necessary this program is to what is referred to as at-risk youth, because I used to be that at-risk youth, that at-risk teen. As you already know, and I'm sure we've all been through teenage years, being a teenager is not the easiest job in the world because of all the social pressures you are going through, the changes your body is going through, plus the increased responsibilities in home and school. So to add a pregnancy and a baby to those responsibilities makes it even more difficult. So it's both a double burden of being a teenager still growing into adulthood and then having adult responsibilities. On top of that, as a teen parent, as a teen mother, I had to face all of the stereotypes and statistics from society that told me that I was not going to amount to anything, that I was going to drop out of school and have more children, that I was going to be on welfare for the rest of my life, and that I would be a bad parent to my child. And for a very long time, after having my child, I internalized many of those stereotypes, not only because these are the things that I was hearing around me, but it was because that's what I was experiencing in my own life. I came from a cycle of teen parents. My grandmother, my mother, and my aunt were teen parents. So becoming a part of that cycle, I internalized those things and watching them not, having to struggle to raise myself and my younger brothers and my cousins, I thought that was what my life was going to be. But it took the encouragement from people who cared to show me what my potential was, and those people for me were communities and schools, staff people. As a high school student, I was a part of the ELECT program, Education Leading to Employment and Career Training program, which is one of the CIS programs. And from day one, and I literally mean from day one, that I entered into high school and they saw me with my bulging little belly, ELECT was there for me. The counselors and social workers there were there for me. They were there for me from 9th grade through high school, even at some points through college, they stayed connected with me. And I have never in my life met more caring people. They encouraged me, they stayed on top of me, they chased me through school if I wasn't in class, they fed me, they kept me healthy. When I went through a very long period of depression after having my daughter, where I just didn't care about myself, I didn't care how I looked or what I was doing, they called me, they came to my house, they did everything that was needed to keep me in school. On the days when I wanted to drop out, on the days when I didn't come back, somebody was there for me from ELECT. And I had teachers, and even those teachers in high school were the ones looking at me as if, you're not going to make it, you're just going to be another teen parent. If it wasn't for ELECT, again, I would have internalized those stereotypes and I would have fallen into them. But it was the ELECT program in CIS that really stayed on top of me, saw my potential, saw that I was a good writer, saw that I was intelligent, and helped me unearth those qualities and put them forth. It was them, my mother didn't go to college, so she really had no idea how to apply for college or how to go about the SATs. It was my counselors who sat down with me and helped me fill out college applications. It was my counselors who helped me look for scholarships that would be helpful to a young parent. It was them who sat down with me and wrote essays and encouraged me to use my story to inspire and to get those opportunities for scholarships. And lo and behold, I went on to go to college and graduate in 3 years from undergrad and then go on to law school. And it was really because of them. It really just truly made all the difference in my life. I just want to take a moment to just really recognize the people who are a part of this program, and I see it reflected here in the board members who are here today, just that kindness, that caring, just that selflessness to help other people, as Tyrese said, again, he stole my speech, this is not something that you have to do, but you wake up because you feel within you something pulling you towards helping people, and it's just something you cannot ignore, and I really, really appreciate everything that CIS has done for me in my life and for my child as well. So I just want to just give you guys a round of applause for that. Again, my counselors never saw me as a statistic, and they encouraged me to not be limited by or reduced or confined by statistics, but to use those statistics as motivation to rise above the statistics and the stereotypes. And because I was able to make those choices for myself and for my daughter, I was able to go to college, I was able to graduate at the top of my class, I was able to then go into law school, and now I'm an attorney working for a nonprofit legal services organization where I'm able to give back and help people who cannot afford legal services and who need access to justice in our system. So I often ponder whether we choose these type of career paths or whether they choose us, whether greatness is consciously sought and achieved or whether it is thrust upon us and we simply accept the mandate. There are days when I feel like I was fated to do the work that I do because of the inextricable connection that it has had to my own life experiences. I'll give just 2 examples. As you know, I had a daughter at the very young age of 14, and I raised her through high school, college, and law school, living for the most part independently. As a young mother and student, I went through many periods of transiency where I often had to move and relocate around Philadelphia to find affordable housing for my daughter and I. Moving meant having to switch daycares often, which was a very heavy burden for us. And because of this, I really had to develop my own methods of ensuring that daycares that I sent my daughter to were affordable, quality, and licensed. I also had other experiences with daycare, such as I received a scholarship from a organization called Family Care Solutions, which paid for my child care throughout college and throughout law school. And at one point, I so happened to live in an apartment that was right over top of a child care program, which was not fun. But little did I know that these events were conspiring to prepare me for what would later actually become a very large part of my career in an area that I've now built up my legal expertise in. Today, 60% of my work at Community Legal Services involves managing a project in a community economic development unit called the Child Care Law Project, where I represent and provide education to low-income child care providers in need of legal assistance to maintain or expand quality child care and early childhood education programs. So that's just one example of the way things have come full circle, and I'm actually also a board member of Family Care Solutions now. So another way it's come full circle for me is through my volunteer work. I'm on a number of boards, and actually coming up through law school, I was able to give back in what I consider to be a very small way to CIS. When I was coming through law school, I was able to volunteer and go around to all the different programs throughout the city and give advice to teen parents on their legal rights, and that was just an amazing experience, and I was just so happy to have been able to go back and just give back just a little bit to the counselors and to the people who raised me up through high school. So that was another way that these experiences have come full circle for me. So again, these are just small ways in which life has prepared me for my career and for what I do every day. And I'm sure we can all think of ways in which our life experiences connect to the work we end up doing or that we plan to do. Often we are more than simply inspired to do this work. We are driven, fated, and called upon to be here because we recognize that we are connected to this work through life experiences and circumstances that mirror the people that we serve and our clients. These experiences are grounded in the fact that we ourselves stand at the intersections of race, gender, and class, and as a result, we may have been victims of poverty or prejudice or politics. And all of the ugly isms, I call isms, racism, sexism, classism, have had irreparable impact on the impoverished communities that many of us come from or are connected to or now serve. Although many people and groups will tell us that we now live in a post-racial society where opportunities have been equalized for women and people of color, the ever-increasing gaps in poverty and achievement between communities of color and their white counterparts will tell us otherwise. The US Census just released its data recently, and according to the data, and I'll just read, they published 10 points, but I'll read the top 4. There are record numbers of people who are poor and without health insurance, more than a third of our population is living on low income. Income inequality has increased from 2009 to 2010. Racial and ethnic disparities have widened in 2010, and young people are getting hammered in this recession. Their words, young people are getting hammered in this recession. So for these reasons, these are the reasons this data is the reason why it is absolutely, absolutely essential to have programs like Communities in Schools, which are dedicated to keeping students in school and increasing the opportunities that they have to achieve and be successful in whatever way they choose to define success or wherever they choose to go in life, whether it's college, whether it's a trade. CIS provides those tools to students and just gives them a helping hand. And it's just that one little thing that makes all the difference for a student. Just someone who cares, someone to be able to talk to, someone who is concerned about their well-being. It goes so far for a lot of these students who are in circumstances where they don't have caring adults in their lives, or they are living in impoverished circumstances where their parents really just can't be there for them, or have to make the choice between going to work and spending time with them, or whatever the case may be. These are the reasons why it's absolutely essential to have CIS present. And these programs recognize that although students face a variety of life challenges, these students are not just throwaways, that they are valuable and that they have potential and that they can be something and do something with their lives. This program is necessary because of the very particular insight that it has into the social ills that plague our communities, and because of its particular devotion to battling those ills. And finally, this program allows us to begin to shape the world as we envision it should be, and not as it has been passed down to us. So that's really all I have to say. And I just, again, thank you for allowing me to be here and to address you, and for embracing me and my story and my daughter. I very much appreciate it. Thank you.